I should tell you about it. Maybe you know it already. The rise in the number of deaths, the homicides, the murders, the crazy people, and then those things that came afterwards. I was there when we discovered the spores that started this whole mess. In the 1980s, an independent group of scientists, myself included, embarked on an expedition to Africa to search for a notorious, maddening substance only known to locals as Wansin. Apparently, this substance was spread through beautiful blom flowers, which were found around the area. When inhaled, the Wansin spores cause madness and dementia in the natives. The effects vary, though most of the time, they turn mad and seek a desire to attack one another. I saw them stab themselves with spears and sticks and such, bashing foreheads as they went. They inflicted wounds onto themselves. Some injuries were enough to kill them naturally, but they still kept fighting. We studied a victim in a lab west of Kijuju, sealing him in a plate glass sealed room with one-way mirrors. We left him adequate food and water and sealed him inside. From him, we learned of the necrosis that was happening on his skin. First, the skin pales. In this case, the native turned his otherwise dark skin into a dry, cracked gray. Blotches start to form, then sores. Through weeks of isolation, we saw the skin turn from a gray, cracked husk into a greenish sore, all while he blabbered on in Afrikaans. Days later, the man expired. As he was being prepared for burial, we noticed that the corpse was twitching rapidly. It was too strange to be called necrotic twitching. It was as if the corpse still wanted to move. After a rapid succession of twitching, the corpse simply went limp. We attempted another experiment. Apparently, that led me to my second discovery. The spores induced mutations in the body, if the tissue damage was severe enough. The spores induced cellular reproduction within the bloodstream, creating cell after cell after cell. We knew something was wrong. A heavily wounded man exhibiting the symptoms of the Blom spores started to grow an inhuman amount of muscle and tissue around the injured parts of his body. We sedated him and placed him in an isolated room for study. The results were astonishing. The Wansin spores regenerated parts of the wounded man's body, with a red mass that gave a crimson pigmentation on the person's skin. The infected showed signs of an intense Wendigo psychosis, an insatiable desire to feed on a human's flesh. As the days passed by, I started to get weary and tired. I was also growing more frightened. The other scientists were getting weary too. When the screaming started, the man was screaming his ears out. The screaming went on for days, until we woke up, heard nothing, and saw a bullet hole in his chest. The reddish man lay there. I asked Peters, our security, if he had done the euthanasia. No, he said. Angel grabbed my gun when I was sleeping. We walked over to Angel, the researcher, curled into a fetal position in the corner of the lab, gun in hand. She was sobbing and whispering. When we examined her for cuts and bruises, we saw a mark embedded in her arm. It was a bite mark. "It bit me. It bit me. I can't believe it bit me," she whispered. "I just wanted to take a blood sample from him, but he bit me. So I shot him. I shot him in the chest. That sick bastard." We had taken every precaution not to get infected with the Wansin agent, to the point of sterilization. Angel was obviously harboring the stage 1 symptoms of the Wansin complex. As we came closer to restrain her, she knew of our intent and shot herself in the chest. Not in the head where the brain would slumber forever, but the chest. After that incident, we decided to get the hell out of there. We gave them all proper burials and left Africa. Due to my colleague's Native American ancestry, we decided to name the condition as the Wendigo Complex. But the thing was, the case was far, far from over. There was a final symptom discovered, and out of the 4, this was the worst. The necrotic twitching I spoke of before. It gets worse. A Wan-Sin-afflicted man was found deceased. As the coroner prepared his tools for the autopsy, he found the man shambling towards the door, ribcage exposed. The man, gray-skinned and pupilless, let out a long moan before falling to the floor, viscera spread all around. We were frightened with the news of the reanimated corpse, frightened beyond comparison to say the least. But, I suppose, it was already too late for us. Spreading the agent would only happen one way, through inhalation of spores. But with the outbreaks of disease near Blom-infested areas, the spores adapted, assimilated the characteristics of a new virus, turning it into a deadly, agile weapon. The agent could now spread through the blood. As such, the occurrences of the infected were spreading, but the virus didn't spread enough to gain people's attention. Until about a month later, bizarre murders occurred around the region. People were apparently eaten. Sightings prevailed of groups of people eating other groups of people. It was madness. It was insanity. To the few who knew about the Wendigo complex, this was a depressing thought. Through the months until the revelation of the massive Wendigo outbreak, I've lost almost all of my colleagues. The first official sightings of the now-named Wendigo men were in a small Floridian island, Casey Key, but by that time, the virus was already spreading across the Americas, Europe, Asia, Africa, through the birds and the like. Innocent people around the world became insane. The Wendigo men didn't stay for long, but their slow, shambling relatives took their place. We, the remaining scientists who first discovered the virus, hesitated to call them what they really were. Just like in the movies, the virus was smart. The whole purpose of the symptoms was to turn the person into those things. Apparently, the virus not only causes necrosis, but causes already dead tissue to reanimate. The Blom-Wan-Sin spores were acting as some kind of reanimating reagent. It was terrifying to think that almost everyone in the world was shambling stupidly, craving for the flesh of the living. But the virus was airborne, and the majority of the population had turned into these things. I don't know why I survived. The surviving group of scientists, myself included, were escorted by a convoy of medical officials towards an underground bunker in disguise of a farming ranch. We all huddled up there, waiting for a miracle. I still remember the look on the lead official's face a few years ago. He was unfazed from all the horrors that happened around him. The others looked up to him as a leader of this band of Americans that were. He's gone now. Every year, his strength waned. The moans of the living dead echoed through every night we spent there under that concrete bunker. Every year, there seems to be that one person that freaks out, and our numbers steadily declined. Gradually, the beasts got in. The leader, tired and weary, embraced them with open arms. He's gone now. During the scuffle, one of them got a chunk of my flesh when we pushed them back, however. Damn. I'm coughing now. Well, the necrovirus just spread throughout my lungs, I suppose. I wonder why I'm not going crazy yet. Just remember, when one gets infected, they're not the same person as before. The person is dead. It's just their body now. Be careful of the water too. Drink bottled water only. The virus is waterborne in some parts of the world. What else? Necrosis. The necrovirus usually causes necrosis. I said that before. Just watch out for patches of skin that seem odd. Dry skin. Itchy skin. If you read this, I cannot tell you how common those words were. But I don't know. I'm afraid to say the other lines. I can't speak of them. It's too horrible. I can't. I just can't. What I'm going to become is 10 times worse than anything I've ever imagined in this world. I can feel it eating away at my body. I'm dying. And I can't whimper. All my strength has gone to locking myself up. It's all for you. I stocked the closet at the back with supplies. A week's worth of food. My remaining boxes of shotgun shells. Pistol magazines. Ammunition. And 10 days worth of gas. Drive as far as Mexico. Whoever you are. Because they're still going to spread. And then go to Antarctica. As for me, I don't know. I'm dead. I'm deader than dead. Oh, pistol. You were always there for me. Its muzzle is caked with blood. I tried to use it on myself, just a few hours ago, but I decided not to. Instead, I shot one of those things in the face. And when I pushed the muzzle against my temple, it was so hot that it branded the skin on the side of my head. I winced a bit from the pain, though I thought of you, and I guess my pain didn't matter anymore. What matters now was the pain I'm causing you. I don't know how you... It doesn't even hurt a bit, even though blood just wells within my mouth. I just need a little water or something. I'm so itchy. Damn it. My right arm is all dry and patchy at parts. Hold on, I gotta scratch. There. Itchy gone. Wait. I mean, the itch is gone. Maybe I'll just sit here and wait for it to get me. I can't pull the trigger. I want it to be over, but I can't. People. Upstairs. Not dead. I see. I have to scratch. Scratch. The itch is not gone. People are. I should go see who it is. I'm so hungry. Hey guys, thank you all so much for watching. I usually never do this because I hate killing the atmosphere of the story. But I wanted to take a moment to talk to you guys about the current issues involving the coronavirus. This won't take very long, I promise. Firstly, I'm not by any means a medical professional, nor am I an expert on the subject matter. That being said, I don't plan on giving you speculative information. What I do want to say is that I want you all to remain calm in times of crisis. The greatest thing the people of the world can do in any critical situation is to remain calm and not to panic. Panicking has never helped anyone in any circumstance. Don't let the media or people rile you up into a frenzy with the spread of misinformation. Be sure to get your information regarding the virus from credible sources. I will be placing a couple links in the description if any of you have any questions regarding the current situation. These are just a few common sense tips, and although they might be redundant by this point, reiterating them can't hurt. Remember, wash your hands regularly. Avoid unnecessary physical contact with other people, as well as touching your eyes, mouth, and nose. If you are feeling ill, then remain indoors and quarantine yourself. Limit yourself from spreading disease of any kind to anyone else as best you can, and as smart as you can. If there is anything I want you to take away from this, is to remember to not panic. Stay calm, get educated from credible sources, be proactive, and wash your hands. Oh yeah, and stop buying all the damn toilet paper, please. Alright, that's enough rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic night. Be safe out there. You're the best.